From the dawn of YouTube we came, moving silently down through the algorithm, making many different videos, struggling to be recommended. And the channels that remain will battle to not be last. No one has ever known we were among you. Until now.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Peaky Rambler. I'm Chris. If this is your very first time stopping by, then welcome. I'm so grateful that you're here. Alright guys, so if you've been a follower for a while, then you're used to seeing my videos about Peaky Hat and flat cap reviews. Maybe you're used to seeing some travel vlogs where I go to different locations and I bring you along for that journey. Now, if that's why you've subscribed and why you continue watching, then I want you to know that's still going to happen. I'm still going to make that type of content, right? But I'm also shifting and doing some other projects as well. I'm going to be sharing some different short film projects that I'm working on. I'm going to be doing some podcast type things. So literally, there's going to be something for everyone. And I hope that if you have been on this journey with me, that you will continue with me. No matter what the content is, right? And I hope that it goes beyond just a review or a travel vlog, etc. And I hope that it turns into more of a connection, right? Where it's almost, even though I'm behind a screen, right? I want it to feel like you're sitting and hanging out and chatting with a friend. With that being said, let's dive right into tonight's video because I'm really excited for tonight's episode, and what I have to show you is something that, man, I've been sitting here. I was gonna do a whole unboxing thing, but I couldn't wait to tear into it and see this. So it's already out of the box. But anyways, speaking of content and things, right? For me, I'm an independent actor. I'm a writer. musician, songwriter. And when you talk about making content, whether it be music or film, this is things that creative arts, let's just say creative arts as a whole, is something that is extremely important to me and close to my heart. Something that I'm very, very passionate about. And when it comes to film in particular, and when we're talking about movie franchise, there can be only one. Talking Highlander. See what I did there? But, when you think about Highlander, whether it's the movie or the TV series, there's so much to unpack there, from action and sword fighting, etc. There's literally something there for everyone, right? But when I think about Highlander, of course I love the action and the story and things, but it makes me think about things even deeper than just what's at surface, right? See, in my full-time career, I'm a first responder and have been for over 20 years. I've worked as a firefighter, EMT. I've been in law enforcement. I've also served in the military. And in my career, I've seen firsthand just how fragile life really is on a daily basis. I've literally seen life come into the world through a child being born. I've also seen life taken, whether it be at the end of a long journey or way too soon. I've seen the balance of life and death firsthand. Most recently, on a very personal level, this concept hits exceptionally close to home because 3 years ago, I lost my dad very tragically and unexpectedly. So when I think of Highlander, it really makes me realize the profound weight behind the story itself. It's not just about swordplay and action. It's about the true cost of immortality. What would it mean to live forever while inevitably losing everything and everyone you've ever known or loved? I heard a quote one time, it may have been in a movie, but it said something along the lines of, immortality seems like a great thing until you realize that you're going to spend eternity alone. That's deep, right? But, I don't know. Like I said, there's a lot to unpack there, and you could dive off into a whole philosophy lesson there, probably. But the reason I bring up my dad, of course, was because I lost him, and when talking about immortality and losing people that you love, etc., I think about those kind of things, right? But Highlander itself was something that was very, very special to me and us as father and son. We watched, when I was a kid growing up, we watched the movie Highlander. We watched the TV series that followed. We watched these things countless times, and it was our thing. We loved Highlander, everything about it. We loved the lore, the characters, Connor MacLeod, Duncan MacLeod, all of them, right? And of course, if you're a music lover at all and appreciate anything about music, you have that, the most epic film soundtrack ever made by Queen. And while they didn't release an official Highlander soundtrack, Freddie Mercury wrote an entire album surrounding this film. The album was A Kind of Magic. But whether you're watching the movie or the TV show, the first opening moments, you have Freddie Mercury belting out the lines to Princes of the Universe. I mean, come on. Like, who doesn't love that particular album? Everything about it was great. But, you know, thinking about these kind of things, I've always been drawn to Scotland and the Highlanders and bagpipes and just all of it, right? And to take a little sidestep detour for a moment, which I tend to do because I am a rambler, I have done a deep dive into my ancestry and my family genealogy. And in doing so, I actually found on my mother's side, I was able to trace our family roots directly back to the Scottish Highlands, specifically to Clan MacFarlane, which was a historic Highland clan whose motto fittingly translates to "This I'll defend." See, since I was a kid, I've always felt this heavy pull, this sense of CIANALAS, which is a Gaelic word. Now, CIANALAS does not have, at least to my knowledge, a direct English translation. But essentially, it's a deep Scottish yearning, or this pull, right? It goes way beyond just what we know as homesickness, but it's this deep pulling or yearning for a time or a place that perhaps you've never even seen or stepped foot in, right? For me, I've never been to Scotland, but even before I knew my ancestry, that it was Scots-Irish, I always felt this pull towards the Highlands and things like Highlander. Another movie that, love it or hate it, I loved it, was Braveheart. The music, of course there was some historical inaccuracies, right? But I'm not going to get into that. My point is, anytime I heard bagpipes play, when my father passed away, he was also a first responder. And one thing that he always wanted was to have bagpipes played at his funeral. He loved bagpipes just as much as I did. I remember him having CDs where he would play Scottish music. And as a kid, these were things that every time I heard the bagpipes, something inside me would stir. I would feel something, this pulling, this. I couldn't explain it then, but now I understand the meaning of CIANALAS. So that's what I chalk it up to, right? And perhaps, if you believe in this kind of thing, perhaps it's a type of blood memory that's passed on from our ancestors through our DNA. And you have a sense of what they felt, right? In our case, with the Highland clans, you had the Highland clearances, and you had numerous people, countless families and clans and kinsmen that were forced from their lands. And perhaps they never got over that. Perhaps they always felt a longing for their home. And I think CIANALAS explains that, right? But with that all being said, I had to share that for you to really understand how much something like Highlander means to me personally. It might not be that big of a deal to you, and that's okay, right? Maybe you see a movie and you're like, hey, awesome movie, and that's where it ends. That's all right. I'm just simply sharing that, to me, Highlander is much more than just a film or a TV show. But that brings me to the whole purpose for this video and what I want to share with you here. But before I can turn this around and show you, I can't go any further until I give a massive, heartfelt shout out to my good friend Paul Macdonald. So, Paul Macdonald of Macdonald Armouries in Scotland is the gentleman who sent me these artifacts that I'm going to share with you. So Paul is an absolute master at many things. And he's a blacksmith, sword maker, teacher of traditional Scottish longsword, broadsword fighting, martial history, historian, reenactor. He's also a musician. He plays bagpipes. He may or may not have had a really, really cool opportunity to be involved with the new Highlander reboot that has been filmed in Scotland in the same locations that the original was filmed. I'm going to leave that to him to share, and I'm simply stating like very vague things there, because that he posted on his Macdonald Armouries Facebook page, so it's nothing that he hasn't already tiptoed around, right? But I want to leave it to him for the big reveal of what exactly he got to be a part of. That is 100% his story to tell, and I think it's going to be amazing. But Paul is just a truly amazing gentleman, and we've had an opportunity to chat online pretty frequently recently, especially regarding these artifacts. And I'm really looking forward to meeting him one day soon, maybe even next year. I'm looking at planning a trip to go to Scotland, and when I do, I'm hoping that I'll finally get to meet him. And I really want to participate in one of his classes that he puts on with the sword fighting, and I'd love to go and tour the Highlander locations with him, and I think that would be really special. But Paul, if you're watching, thank you so much for everything that you sent me. You have no idea how much it means to me. You know a little bit about what I shared with you when we were chatting back and forth. But thank you for this stuff here. And again, to you guys watching, I couldn't go any further without doing that shout out to my friend Paul Macdonald. At the end of the video, I'm going to tell you how you can link up and follow his page. And please make sure that you do. Go support this amazing guy. But Paul, Slancheva, cheers, mate. That being said, so Paul, as I stated, he lives in Scotland. And he recently visited Glencoe, where the original 1986 film of Highlander was shot. He actually managed to locate the exact spots where some of the most iconic film sets ever were built and stood. He found where the MacLeod Castle tower was, not to be mistaken with the Clan MacLeod Castle. That was a completely different location. That was a real historical castle that still stands to this day. What I'm talking about for this particular video is the Connor MacLeod. It was like a tower castle. And I'll post some photos here so you can see what I'm talking about. But it was where Connor was banished from his village, and he ended up meeting his wife Heather, and they had a tower castle. They had his croft, his blacksmith forge, all these that you see here that I'm posting in these screenshots from the film. I do not own any of these images. These are completely owned by the respective producers and writers and everyone involved with the film Highlander, which is, I have no ownership at all, just to throw that out there. But I think it was really cool that he found these spots. You know, he went to these locations, was able to do some excavation and I guess like archaeology type metal detecting and stuff. He even found the exact location where Connor MacLeod planted his clan sword as a grave marker for his beloved wife Heather. And guys, Paul didn't just find the locations, right? He didn't just go and see where it was filmed. He recovered actual physical cinematic history. One thing that he recovered was several large nails, bolts, stone from the foundation of the croft. He also found a heather plant from the roof that was on the croft. You know, and that's what I have right here. So, bam. I really hope that you can see this all right. And listen, the camera doesn't do this justice at all. It's really, really beautiful piece of art that Paul has put together. In the photo there's that castle tower that I was talking about. Guys, I'm literally holding Highlander movie history right here. Now, what Paul did was he built these collector shadow boxes, if you will. Very beautiful black frame that he put this inside of. He also had some that were like a brown, dark brown colored frame. But these are absolutely beautiful. And what he's done is he took these different artifacts that he found and he made these. So the one that I went with, right, was from the MacLeod Castle. And what he's done, he's put a screenshot of the particular location from the film, as well as a description. And in this one it says, a genuine piece of the MacLeod Castle set from the original Highlander movie, excavated in Glencoe, June 2026. And there it is. And that is amazing. Now, he was also very, very kind enough to send me a couple of extra things that I want to share with you here. So this right here is a piece of the stone foundation from Connor MacLeod's croft. And listen guys, I'm not only holding a piece of film set, but you have to understand, this was buried in the Scottish soil for 40 years. This is the 40th anniversary of Highlander. 40 years this has been in the Scottish soil in the Highlands. So in a sense, this is a piece of Scotland in itself. This became a part of the soil there, right? It was in the ground. And when I hold this, not only is there the cool factor of this was a part of Highlander film set, but I hold this and it's like I'm holding a piece of the Scottish Highlands. That might sound weird to some of you guys, but to me, it means a lot. There's that. That was from the stone foundation from the Connor MacLeod croft. And then right here, you have a piece of Scottish heather that was used on the roof of the croft. And it was all there. It was all there, guys, after 40 years. He located where the film sets were, and he found it. And there were, I don't know if the place has just collapsed. I don't know if they were torn down and there were things left behind, but it was there. He found numerous nails, bolts, tools, drill bits, rebar, all kind of things that were just buried right there where they filmed it. And he was able to recover this. And what he did was, once he gathered a lot of these pieces, he made these really cool shadow boxes. And he made them available to collectors so that they could own a piece of this for themselves. Man, that is so cool. Having a piece of cinematic history like this, to me, is priceless. I can't wait to pass down things like this to my own daughter one day. This is something that if you're a collector of film memorabilia, if you like the film, if you just like, I don't know. To me, it's just cool. I can't say enough about it. And here's the thing. This frame's journey isn't over yet. It hasn't just came here and gonna disappear onto a shelf, right? Here in a couple weeks, my daughter and I are going to be traveling up to North Carolina for the Mad Monster Expo. It's a convention with different celebrities. And at this particular convention, they're going to be having the gathering, right, to celebrate the 40th anniversary of Highlander. They're going to have Christopher Lambert, who played Connor MacLeod in the original film. They're going to have Adrian Paul, who played Duncan MacLeod in the TV series. One cool thing that I'm going to be doing, and my understanding is you can't film yourself. You can't even take photos, but they provide you with some film and photos. At least that's my understanding, is Adrian Paul has a thing called the sword experience, where he teaches you cinematic sword fight choreography. And you literally get to cross swords, training swords, of course, boken. You get to cross training swords with Highlander himself, Duncan MacLeod. How freaking cool. So on Saturday and Sunday of that convention, I'll be doing 2 classes with Duncan MacLeod, Adrian Paul. Definitely making a video about that. And any video or photos that they provide, I will certainly include. I have the swords. There was the Duncan MacLeod katana and the Connor MacLeod katana. I'm going to be doing some review videos on those very, very soon. But my plan is to have each respective sword autographed on the saya, or the scabbard, by Christopher Lambert and Adrian Paul. And what I'm thinking about doing is, on this film artifact from Highlander, I'm really considering getting Christopher Lambert to sign this somewhere. Whether it be across the bottom very neatly, maybe on the top, I even thought about doing it somewhere on the back. I don't want to mess this up at all. I think that maybe if you leave the front alone, that could be cool. And it's already a really cool conversation piece. But then you tell someone like, hey, but wait, there's more. And then you turn it around and you show them, hey, look, Christopher Lambert signed here. I don't know. I think that would be really, really cool to have a piece of the film set where he filmed the movie and brought Connor MacLeod to life, and you have him sign a piece of that, right? If nothing else, I'm definitely gonna take it and share it with him and show Mr. Lambert, hey, this was a significant piece of history from your career, and I think that'll be very, very special to him as well. But guys, I'm really glad that you watched the video tonight, and I really wanted to share that with you because it's something that to me is really, really cool. I mean, it's not every day you get to sit and hold a piece of Highlander film history in your hands, right? You got a piece of the bolt or nails that held the castle together. You got some stone foundation from the Connor MacLeod croft. You got the heather that grows in Scotland. So, I mean, you talk about a piece of Scotland. There you go, right? All of that there's just this huge wow factor. But in closing, before we wrap this up, I'm not going to ask you to subscribe. I'm not going to ask you to like or comment to me. Instead, we're going to do a reverse Uno here, and I'm going to slingshot you over to my friend Paul Macdonald, right? Because none of this would be possible without him and his hard work. All right, it takes time to travel. It takes time to go to these places and hike and get to them. It takes blood, sweat, and tears to dig this stuff up. The time that it took to frame and put all of these together, I don't even want to try and guess how much hard work that was. All I know is it's awesome, and it's all thanks to him that I have this, right? So again, Paul, thank you from the bottom of my heart. It means so much to me. So here's the thing, guys. I need every single one of you to do me a massive favor. I need you to head over to Facebook and join Macdonald Armouries group. I'll put a screenshot right here so that you know exactly which group it is and so that you know that you're getting the right one. But Macdonald Armouries, ARMOURIES. So do me a favor, support Paul, check out his phenomenal sword work, take a look at the other Highlander set relics he has available for sale. He is an incredible artist, preserving a history that means the world to me, to him, and many other people around the world, right? If you're a Highlander fan, you're a Highlander fan, and you know exactly what this stuff means to you, right? But with that being said, thank you guys so much for letting me share something so personal today. I want you to stay tuned for the Mad Monster Expo vlog. Stay tuned for the sword reviews showing the Connor MacLeod and Duncan MacLeod swords. The Duncan MacLeod sword in particular is going to be a really special video that I think you're going to love. There's a reason for that I will not spoil here, but stay tuned. That one's going to be really, really cool because it comes from someone very, very special. But as always, no matter where life takes you, always keep your head up, pull your brim down low, and I'll catch you in the next video. Take care, guys, and remember, there can be only one Peaky Rambler. Later, guys.